Okay. Ooh. Why am I hearing myself so clearly in my own microphone or my own headphones? Don't know if I like that. I don't know why it's doing that. Anyway, how's everyone doing? I see Jason Ewan. I want to know how he is doing. And I see, of course, one of Mark Zuckerberg's minions infiltrating the chat already. It's Mr. Jackpot. But we're not going to talk shit about Mark Zuckerberg today, because I want to talk shit about Phil Spencer today instead, if that's okay. Jason Ewan saying, don't forget the thumbs up. Oh, actually, you know what? That reminds me, Jason Ewan. Let's see if I can test this out. Boom. No? That didn't work? I thought I fixed this. No? Jason Ewan's comment should be popping up on the screen right now, but unfortunately, I can't get that working these days, which is a shame. But you know what? We'll get over it. We'll work around it. I'll simply just read it out, and you can see the chat yourself, so it's not that big of a deal. But whatever. He's doing great, and I'm doing great. Well, I'm doing decent anyway, Jason. You know, let's not oversell it now. I'm not doing great. Great's a big word. Geison's here, getting moist. I didn't see that. He slipped in unnoticed. Man, it's really annoying me that that's not working. Hold on a sec. I'm sorry about this, but you know how it is. It's been a while. I can't remember how to stream. You know, I'm learning as we go. I'll try that again. Clear. Oh, it is working now. Streamlabs bot running. Nice. Jason Ewan going to jump into some Alvo in a bit. God damn it, when's the last time I played Alvo? Or Firewall. For that matter. Or any PSVR game. Been rough. It's been difficult. It's been a difficult few months for me. Just trying to find the time, and my squeaky chair as well. You know what? The squeaky chair is off-putting. It's it makes me not want to stream because it's constantly squeaking. But anyway, oh, look who it is. Look who it is. Oh, why isn't he showing up on this? Come back. There he is. Takes a little while on this one to show up. Edward Spears. Start with the tip, he says. You doing good? I'm doing very good. Edward Spears. And your sister Brittany, I hear, she is free from her conservatorship or whatever the fuck that thing is. Not too happy with your dad, Edward. I don't like the way he was treating your sister. And I think you should have done more to stick up for her, if I'm being honest. Jason Ewan hasn't played Alvo all week. Or maybe PSVR in general. He's been hella busy. And Edward says, good to see you. It's good to see you too, Ed. The missus has taken the Spudlands to her home for the weekend, so that's why I'm able to do stuff and stream and whatnot. But the hot news right now, I don't know how long this is going to be, by the way. It's not like a touch and tips. It's not probably not going to be a full length thing, but it's kind of just shake a little bit of the rust off. Edward. Microsoft acquiring Activision Blizzard. Which, obviously, like if you're watching gaming news at all, you've heard about this already, so I'm not going to go into that side of it. But you've probably not heard too much about what this could mean for virtual reality. Which, you know, this is what this channel's about. This is why you're all here. You're all big VR fans. Let me go to live chat instead, in case it's censoring some of you. Sometimes when I do top chats instead of live chats, it hides some of your comments, and I don't know why. Jason Ewan, let me highlight some of your bigotry, Jason, if you don't mind. There it is. VR. I hope you're happy, Jason. I'd gone the whole day without anyone making fun of my... Actually, I've gone for months without anyone making fun of my or pronunciation, but here we go. First day back streaming. Jason making me feel self-conscious, making me wish I never started streaming again. Are you happy, Jason? Is this what you wanted? You want to see a man cry on stream? Is that what you want to see? Okay, well, entertainment. That's your idea of entertainment. That's fine. Who is that who has just walked into the chat? cousin Justin piling on with the harassment with the or. He's put an emphasis on the O's instead of the letter or, which I would say is probably incorrect. I think Jason was the more correct hate speech. I like the accent, buddy. It's all in good fun, Jason. Of course, I'm only messing with you. I don't feel anything ever. That's really why my missus has gone down. She's left the county because she knows I don't feel things. She doesn't want to be around me. Cousin Justin, I'll highlight. I enjoy just clicking these. You know, click it. It pops up on the screen. I'm having a good time. And who's that? Can I ban Jason? You can ban this other guy. What's this? Message deleted by Geisen. That's weird. He deleted it before I even seen it. A Russian name. I can't pop it up on the screen. So well done, Geisen. Probably some kind of, malware, pornographic link, which I'll check out after the stream just to make sure it's safe. Anyway, Phil Spencer spending 70 billion. Well, not exactly. It's like 68.7 or something like that. Geisen saying it was a bot. Thank you very much, Geisen. Let's put Geisen on a pedestal for a little while. A little reward for Geisen for being such a good moderator. Thank you. Cousin Justin wanting to ban Jason while there was a genuine, bot there for banning. Why do you have that wrench, Cousin Justin? Just because it looks good, and yeah, it's the only reason you have it. Geisen actually knows how to wield it. Anyway, $68.7 billion dues to buy active. Oh, here he is again. Sorry, getting distracted. Oh no, that's Jason. God damn it. Let me just get this sentence out and I'll read the comment again, Jason. It's been a while. So, spent a ridiculous amount of money. I mean, last year they bought Bethesda, and I actually was excited by that, kind of. I mean, I was sad because Bethesda were pushing for virtual reality, and I knew that Phil has no interest in Xbox supporting virtual reality, at least not now. Not while it's still in the kind of experimental, finding its feet stage that it's in right now. He's going to be there when it finally goes mainstream. He'll start cashing some checks again. Maybe he'll, team up with Meta, or maybe he'll do his own thing. But anyway, back then, we're talking about the future. Let's talk about the past for a sec. Back when they bought Bethesda, again, mixed bag because, okay, Fallout 4 not coming to virtual reality first, and we'll never get to play that probably. And God knows what else. Future, the Elder Scrolls games. They're some of my favorite games. Oblivion is up there in my top 5 games of all time, I would say. Definitely top 10. But what excited me about that is that I was like, okay, Xbox are serious now. They're buying all these studios, these top quality studios. I mean, Todd Howard's studio, Bethesda, like the actual Bethesda Softworks, you could argue they were on the decline, which I would, because, Skyrim was worse than Oblivion, and then I found Fallout 4 worse than Fallout 3, Fallout 76, a disaster. So in my mind, anyway, I've been seeing a downward slope. Now maybe that changes things with Microsoft money. We'll wait and see. But you're talking about Arcane, the Dishonored guys. You're talking about Tango, DreamWorks, The Evil Within and all that. So they got these quality studios, and I was like, okay, they're going to put it up to Sony now. Because they had already bought their own studios the previous year. The likes of Playground Games and stuff like that. Which all made sense because they had worked with those studios closely and they were kind of making exclusives for them anyway, so it didn't make much of a deal. But the Bethesda one was a kind of a big thing because that was like a big third-party publisher. And I thought that was like the biggest news, the biggest acquisition I'll probably ever see. And then this happened, which is, if I'm being honest, I think they got a better deal in terms of games that I'm interested in with Bethesda, but with Activision they got Call of Duty, and that alone is just fucking, spicy. But before I keep rambling on to myself, Jason Ewan, what are you saying? You have to have that thick foreskin if you play Firewall and Alvo. That's true. The thickest. My foreskin is so calloused, Jason Ewan, that it doesn't open. I have to have surgical operations to fix that. Jason Ewan, damn cousin Justin, I get no love buddy. He wants a love buddy. Give him a love buddy. Fozzleton Bear, speaking of foreskin, how you doing, Fozzie Bear? And Jeremiah, how you doing, Jeremiah? AKA Jeremiah Thor or something on PSN. I don't know why I see your name, I think of Thor. Maybe it's your avatar, I think of Thor. Anyway, Jeremiah says, I so wanted that Fallout 4 in virtual reality. Me too. However, I do remember at the time hearing that the PC VR version of it was actually like trash. It was unoptimized. Skyrim VR was the much better made game, virtual reality game. So, plus it was Fallout 4. I mean, I just remember that game being... I never finished this. I couldn't finish it. Once it got to like this settlement shit where you had to start building and it was like crafting, and I was like, I have no interest in that whatsoever. So that ruined Fallout 4 for me personally. I know other people loved it. But yeah, still a loss, of course. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so Bethesda, that was a big loss for virtual reality, for us in terms of virtual reality. Big gain for Microsoft. With Activision, you know, I've had this mental image in my head of the future of PSVR, PSVR 2 specifically. I think this is the one that has the power to run all these third-party games in virtual reality, and the one that was top of my mind, maybe alongside Fortnite. But the number one like mental image when I think of mainstream virtual reality, I immediately think of Call of Duty having virtual reality support. I'm not even a big fan of Call of Duty. I played them kind of sporadically, you know. I might get the Black Ops ones and then I ignore Vanguard and the World War II ones and whatever. But if you want, I mean, you can't ignore the numbers that Call of Duty does. It is ridiculous. So the stats are, I think this is just for North America. However, North America kind of reflects the rest of the world too often. But the top 2 selling games on PlayStation, so that includes PS4 and PS5, for all of 2021, last year, were both Call of Duty games. Number 1, Vanguard. Number 2, Cold War. That's the top 2. So you can imagine the amount of cash, the amount of people buying these games is ridiculous. I mean, it's the best-selling franchise for the last 13 years. It's massive, and that's a massive loss that's not coming to virtual reality. At least, not in the short term. I think there is hope for Microsoft to embrace virtual reality, but only after everyone else has done the donkey work, you know. Sony will help bring it mainstream. Even Mark Zuckerberg is helping bringing it mainstream, so I get to give him some props for that. You know, HTC, what's the story with HTC now? I don't even pay attention to them anymore. I don't know what they're up to. Excuse me. But yeah, there's these other kind of headsets popping up as well. I think Apple are making a move. You know, there's a Spanish one, Varjo or something like that. So yeah, more and more of these headsets, I think one of them are going to do. So I think it might be PSVR. I'm hoping it's going to be PSVR 2, but it could very easily be Quest 3 or whatever they're going to call it. But they're not going to have that Call of Duty, and that's going to make it like... I think it'll still happen. I'm hoping it will still happen, but it's going to be slower. Maybe considerably slower. Without Call of Duty. And it's not just Call of Duty. It is Overwatch. It is, you know, World of Warcraft. They've got... You know, the Blizzard stuff, I suppose, is the big ones. But Activision, I mean, they had Guitar Hero. There could have been a really good virtual reality Guitar Hero, you know. What else did they have? Crash Bandicoot, Spyro. I mean, it just feels wrong that they're Xbox exclusive instead of... I mean, they're PS1 classics. You know, they're mascots of PS1, and now they're tied to Xbox. So that feels disgusting. Jeremiah says, Fallout had Far Harbor DLC. That was my island, and yeah, my middle name is Thor. Your middle name is Thor in real life? Damn. That's actually pretty cool. Every Thursday is your day. And what else was I going to say? Oh yeah, so there has been some tweets and some articles and stuff since this acquisition news has come forward with Phil Spencer saying, it's his desire to see Call of Duty remain on PlayStation. But of course, as always with Xbox, Microsoft, Phil Spencer, he will always word things in a certain way that you can never be certain. So he can always weasel out of whatever he's saying if need be. So at first when I read that tweet, it's like, oh, they're keeping Call of Duty on PlayStation because there's too much money for them to ignore them on PlayStation, because I think it's something like 70% of the Call of Duty player base is on PlayStation platforms. So that's too much for them to leave off the table, especially when they're after spending $70 billion. They need to recoup these costs. But the more you think about it, the more I see other analysts and stuff looking into it, it seems likely that it could be a case of him saying, hey, Sony, put Xbox Game Pass on PS5, and that way you can have Xbox on the PlayStation platforms, and then we're both winners this holiday season on Xbox. That's how he talks. Sorry. So yeah, it is very difficult to know right now, and this deal isn't even signed until June 23. So if it even is finalized, I know Tasuki, if he was here, he'd be telling me the deal isn't finalized yet. The FTC has to approve it, etc., etc. It's gonna be investigated, and it might be, but if Bethesda went through with no problem, I don't see why this won't go through with no problem. If you want to talk about monopolies, there's still too many companies out there competing for them to be considered a monopoly, even if they acquired 2 or 3 more big publishers, So yeah. Oh, here we go. Mr. Jackboss says, no way the full game is exclusive. I assume he's talking about Call of Duty. Some skins, etc., or early access, but won't make Call of Duty Xbox exclusive. So what I would say to you, Mr. Jackboss, is why would they not make Call of Duty Xbox exclusive? But they've already confirmed that they're going to make Starfield Xbox exclusive and the Elder Scrolls 6, whatever it is. So why? I think the only way we see Call of Duty come to PlayStation is if Sony have to bend over, pull down their pants and say, come on in, Philip Spencer. And I think that comes in the form of Xbox Game Pass coming to PS5. Now, whether Sony would agree to that, I don't think they would, because that'd be like a Trojan horse, willingly letting the Trojan horse into your city to be pillaged. Because Starfield and Elder Scrolls suck balls compared to COD. First of all, I don't know, like Starfield is a new IP, so I can't say one way or the other on that. Second though, Elder Scrolls completely shits on every single Call of Duty, maybe barring Modern Warfare. The only good Call of Duty was Modern Warfare. Maybe Black Ops 1 as well. But yeah, I'm not sad to see Call of Duty go exclusive because I love Call of Duty or anything like that. I'm sad to see, first of all, how much it's going to hurt Sony. That's like a crazy amount of money that's going to be going out of their pocket if it goes exclusive. But secondly, the potential ramifications of not seeing a Call of Duty in virtual reality, at least, not for a long time. Way too much money lost making us exclusive, since won't agree to that Xbox Game Pass in the Sonys. I'm going to need you to put down the marijuana and maybe proofread what you're typing before you hit that enter button. Okay? Can we do this? I know you're on the quest and you're touch typing or whatever, but get it together. Maybe if there was better tracking on them fingers, you'd be able to type correctly. But that's Facebook for you. Anyway. You do make a good point that they will be losing money, but the thing is, that's short term. Their big strategy is long term Game Pass. So you get every Call of Duty on Game Pass, all of a sudden, what's that add to their numbers? 10 more million subscribers? Then they up the price of Game Pass, because where else are you going to get Call of Duty? If you up it to $20 a month, it's still a good deal, you know? And then they're making much more money than they would have the traditional way. But that might take years. But eventually it happens, you know? And you do that by keeping them exclusive. That's their plan. They're going all in on Game Pass. Jason Ewan says, I think they will trade other exclusives eventually with Microsoft and other competitors. You're talking about Sony. I've seen a few people say this, like, oh, give us Spider-Man and we'll give you Call of Duty, but I don't think that's how it works. At least I can't think of a specific, you know, example of this ever happening in the past where they just like trade exclusives. I know MLB came to Xbox last year, but they were forced to do that. Like Sony were forced to do that by the actual MLB organization. They did not want to do that. I think I heard a rumor that like the big boss of MLB, the CEO or whatever, had like a son or a grandson who had an Xbox, and he's like, yo, Pops, why can't I play MLB on Xbox? And he's like, yeah, that's fucked up. Let me make a phone call. And then it happened. Ooh, so Jason Ewan, not Jason Rowe, says Saints Row, for instance. So you're saying Saints Row, but I mean, Saints Row 1 was an Xbox 360 exclusive, and it never came to PS3 as far as I know. Then Saints Row 2 and 3 and all the rest of them did. But I don't think that was like a, hey, you get Saints Row if we get something else. Or maybe it is, but I don't remember that. Give me more details if that's what the situation is. Excuse me. I had chicken, so I'm getting the chicken sweats and the chicken gas, as I'm sure you all do. Mr. Jackpot says they make it day one for Game Pass, but let it stay in Sony. That way you get all the Sony player money and all the new subscriber money from Game Pass. I mean, if that's their strategy, then they should do that for all the other ones too. They should do that for Starfield. They should do that for the Elder Scrolls. I don't see why they would separate that for Call of Duty, because they'd make serious money from Starfield. They'd make serious money from the Elder Scrolls whenever the fuck that comes out. Probably next generation. But no, I think they're spending this kind of money because they want exclusives. And it's not just the games that they're getting. It's not just the IPs that they're getting. But they've got like 30-something studios now, which is ridiculous. I think just a few years ago, they only had 6. Is that right? 6 seems a bit light. Maybe we'll say 10. I don't know. But the point is they've like tripled the fucking size of their first-party fleet in the space of like, I don't know, 4 years, 5 years. Fuzzleton Bear says, am I wrong, but isn't Activision a dumpster fire right now? They are. They are, especially with all the, you know, sexual harassment allegations and all this kind of shit. And the fact that Call of Duty was really their only big... Well, no, that's not true, I suppose. Overwatch. But Overwatch has kind of been going downhill, hasn't it? I feel like people kind of shit in Overwatch now more than they praise it, like it was huge at the time. Then there was World of Warcraft. They did a remake of that, and people kind of shouting that. There's the Tony Hawk remake and the Crash Bandicoot and the Spyro ones. Those were well received. But then they put the developers of those games making Call of Duty because they weren't happy with the numbers or some shit. So they got a good history of running shit into the ground, Activision. I mean, they used to have like a really good studio called Neversoft. And they don't exist anymore because of Activision. And their stupidity. Jason Ewan says, I honestly don't know the specifics. I just know it started as an Xbox exclusive. I think crossplay between consoles could assist, possibly. I mean, like, that's happened before, where like the first game is exclusive and then the sequels become multi-platform. But that's usually because it's like a third-party developer and they just want to make more money, so that's why they do it. Or Sony come along and approach them and say, hey, we want in on this too. Let's cut a deal. Just off the top of my head, I'm thinking of Mass Effect. The original one was Xbox exclusive, and then the sequels came to PS3 as well. There's probably like a bunch more that I can't think of. Ace Combat. They used to be Sony exclusive, and then Xbox got them. You know, so it goes back and forth. Those Tekken games used to be on PlayStation only. But I don't think it's like Microsoft and Sony, they're not making the deal with each other because neither of them own those IPs. You know, like Microsoft doesn't own Saints Row and they never did. Fozzie Bear says Microsoft is creatively corrupt. I think Microsoft's biggest problem, first of all, I don't think you're wrong, by the way, although there is definitely some talent there now. You can't, like, out of all those studios, you can't say that there's not some, you know, very creative studios that they have now after spending the cash. But their big problem is management, I think. At least that's how it was last generation. So if that continues forward, then who's to say all these studios don't get run to the ground? Again, Call of Duty goes off a cliff. I don't know. Maybe we won't have to worry about, you know, virtual reality coming to Xbox because Xbox won't be a thing. Although I think in 2014, Xbox came like this close to being shut down. Like the big CEO, whoever he is, what's his name? Nadia something, Satya or some shit. I don't know. But he was... he wanted to shut down Xbox, but Phil Spencer had to convince him otherwise. And he did. So he is literally the savior of Xbox. Mr. SpongeBob says Activision not worth acquiring. Same with Bethesda. Now, when you say not worth acquiring, you can't be talking about monetarily because Call of Duty makes so much goddamn money that it is like literally worth acquiring. You know. Then Bethesda also have heavy hitters, Skyrim, The Elder Scrolls, you know, Fallout games. They sell big. The other Bethesda games don't really seem to make much impact. I think the Dishonored games were kind of, and I assume Deathloop as well, they're probably undersold compared to their quality. Jason Yoon says, these are just my personal opinions, which may be completely bullshit. Jason, I know you mean well, and you're not trying to spread lies or misinformation or anything, but I think you may be incorrect on Sony and Microsoft making the deals for those particular games. Like, you know, that's not to say that they can't make these kind of deals, just that I don't think they've happened before. There's not a precedent for them, I don't think. Fuzzy Bear, and I keep leaving out the 927 part, forgive me. Just wait until Microsoft starts jamming thumbs in assholes. It's going to get worse. Okay. I'm not sure what this is in reference to, but I'll be keeping my eyes on my asshole. I'm trying to. Lubomir Alexevia. I think this guy needs to be fucking taken out with a wrench. I assume this is some kind of spam. I don't know what that is. Jason Ewan says, I had 3 Xbox 360s crash. That is when I quit Xbox. The red rings of death. That was ridiculous. I think there was like a... They don't officially say this, but I think there was like a 70% failure rate on Xbox 360s. At least the first few waves of them until they eventually fixed the issue. And the whole reason for that is they wanted to beat the PS3 to market, so they rushed that shit. From what I understand, they knew. Why does my fucking eye look weird? Am I having a stroke? Is it my imagination that my eye is like half closed or something? Thank you. First of all, thank you for the generosity. And look at that, it's in fucking yen. Tradition over here in Japan, dishing out the yens. I don't think I've ever had yens before, so thank you for that. And thank you secondly for the baby cow song, which we all enjoy. And thirdly for the humorous content, or comment I should say, which I'll pop up on the screen in a second. We'll enjoy it that way. But how are you doing, Tradition? Thank you. Peepo the Pumpkin. Excellent name. What is going on with my... Am I paranoid? Am I having a stroke? Maybe I am. Somebody send help. Zuckerberg has trapped me in the metaverse. I only have 5 seconds to tell you. But Candy Crush is owned by Activision. COD is child's money compared to COD. I think you mean compared to Candy Crush. Is that what you mean? I actually haven't looked up how much Candy Crush brings in, but I know that was like kind of like everyone plays Candy Crush. You know, people who don't game play Candy Crush. You know, old women and stuff play Candy Crush. But I will have to look that up because I thought that was like Candy Crush was a big thing there in like the like 2012, 13, 14, something like that. And then it kind of fell off. I thought people kind of stopped talking about it. But maybe not. Dyson says, that boss isn't showing on my comments. Interesting. Maybe you've just set it to live chat instead of top. Thank you for hiding his comment, Dyson. Doing God's work. Needed to use his phone to ban him. Nice job. Okay, let's get this up here. Look at that yen. Look at that. 1,000 yens. God damn. God damn. And apparently that's worth $8.8 if you wanted to know how that works, tradition. 1,000 yens. I mean, it seems excessive. Maybe they should put that down to 100 yens at least. Or 10 yens. So we could all be more on a more level playing field, but whatever. Facebook made Decepticon exclusive to Quest to attack this channel. It makes a lot of sense. Because he's vanished as well. He's probably got like an obscene amount of money. He's probably left New Jersey, as any wealthy person would. And he's probably, you know, holed up in a mansion somewhere with any amount of cougars and milfs. You know, he's probably got like one of them holding a bunch of grapes. And he bites the bottom grape off. And he says, get a new bunch. He only has the bottom grape. Sorry for breathing loudly, but it had to be done. So yeah, that is... I don't know, is there anything else to say? It's up in the air, obviously. But Call of Duty is a massive loss to PlayStation. And a potentially massive loss to virtual reality in general. That's the part that hurts us the most, I guess. And there's probably other IPs as well that maybe some of you would have been like, oh, I'd love if Overwatch got virtual reality support. I'm not an Overwatch person, but whatever, that could be cool too. I know it's a popular series. What else do they have? Guitar Hero. I don't know if anything else is like very suitable for virtual reality, but Call of Duty is the big one. You know, that's the one that moves headsets. That's the one that gets the mainstream talking. That's the one that, you know, that does what we want. That makes the dream of mainstream virtual reality, you know, a reality, which is what we all want at the end of the day. Jason Ewan says, so what are the PSVR 2 games we know are coming to the PSVR 2? So, there is the officially announced ones from Sony, which is just one right now. That is the Horizon spin-off game, Call of the Mountain. We've seen like no gameplay, just like a very quick snippet. Impressive looking visuals, but you know, nothing we can really say about that. Then there's been a few third parties who are saying, oh, we haven't got dev kits yet, but when we do, we'll put it on, PSVR 2. So off the top of my head, people who have said that are Alvo devs, they've said that. What's that Cyberpunk one? I think it's called Lo-Fi or something like that. He's another one who said he will. There's probably a few. Oh, Contractors? No, Pavlov. Contractors or Pavlov. I can't remember what the fucking name is. But you know that other kind of Alvo-esque game? Or maybe Firewall-esque would be more appropriate. I'm not too sure. I think it's Pavlov. Mr. Jackpot says, we just need Firewall 2 to deliver. Firewall 2 is something I hope we see announced in the near future, or at least at some point, you know, in our lifetimes. We just have to wait. We can everything's going to be speculation, but when Sony eventually do a PSVR dedicated event, which, I mean, I don't know when that's going to be. It all depends on the release dates of the PSVR 2, which could, you know, the more the days go and the more we keep hearing news and whatnot, I start to worry it might slip to 2023, which means a reveal could be pushed back as well, you know. But that's just maybe paranoid, baseless speculation on my part. I'm still hoping October at the latest. just like PSVR 1. But when I think of PSVR 1, I'm pretty sure that was supposed to launch earlier in that year and it got pushed to October. So there is a precedent of these headsets getting delayed. It can happen. Let's hope it doesn't, though. But when we do... What's going on here? God damn, my mouse is like freezing up. But yeah, when we do get that reveal, you know, I'm expecting Sony to start pumping out. Remember, Firewall will be a first party title because they own that IP. So I wouldn't expect First Contact to like just randomly tweet one day, hey, here's the Firewall sequel you've all been waiting for. It will be probably at an event or something, you know. People, the pumpkin says, okay, I took the red pill, I got out of your world. Zuckerberg tried to trap me in, but Decepticon is stuck in there. Decepticon is such a blue pill, which is funny because I think he's a hacker in real life. Jeremiah, Thor, COD in virtual reality would suck. Something like PUBG VR would be awesome, however. I'm not going to write it off like that. But even if, compared to our standards, it's shit, you know? Even if it was all the things you complain about Call of Duty now, if they were still present in the virtual reality version of Call of Duty, that's not even the point, you know? The point is that it's Call of Duty. It's such a huge brand that it would, like, headsets would fly off the shelves, you know? That's what we want. Headsets to fly off the shelves so that other developers of games that we actually want will be like, hey, these headsets are flying, let's put our game on that. And then we benefit from that. So we don't care about Call of Duty, whatever, that's fine. It's the potential loss of other games. And potential funding from Sony as well, because I don't know, God knows how much money they were making off Call of Duty sales. You know? We don't want Sony to have to like tighten their shoestrings. Is that the phrase? You know? Because then, you know, who knows what the knock-on effects of that would be. Maybe they invest less in VR because they can't afford to. Again, baseless speculation. Fozzie Bear can't see them excluding such large markets for more than short time frames. You can't see Microsoft excluding like PlayStation platforms. I assume that's what you mean by that. Other than timed exclusive, like for a little. Okay, I think I get what you're saying, and a lot of people agree with you, Fozzie. And the way that Phil has worded things since then has completely left it open for that being the reality of how it's going to be. But I can see it being Call of Duty Warzone games. Maybe they stay on PlayStation because they're already kind of there. And maybe that's because that game just evolves like Fortnite. It doesn't need a sequel, really. But then, like, the mainline Call of Duties, then they could be exclusive. I know you're saying too much money being lost on the table, but that's short term. You know, long term, it means way more Game Pass sales. And forget about Xbox, the console. You know, you're going to get Xbox sales on smart televisions when they start bundling in like xCloud on the televisions and phones and shit like this. People are going to be streaming these AAA quasi next gen games on these devices. Not that you'd want to be streaming a Call of Duty game, really. That would be a bad kind of example. But you kind of get what I'm saying. You could do the single player campaign, no problem anyway. But you could definitely be right. Peepo Boneworks said highly likely. Yes, I forgot about that one. And yes, we get Pavlov. So that's two that we're probably going to get. And Boneworks is the one that just looks super fun. Like, you can just do crazy experimental stuff. It just lets you have a lot of fun in that one. So that's one I really like to get. Shut your mouth, phone. Mr. Jackpot. Every game you see on the Quest will be ported to the PSVR 2. Better graphics and performance. I hope not, because every game I see on the Quest looks like utter garbage that belongs in the fucking trash can and set on fire. I don't want Blade and Sorcery Little Babies edition. I want the proper Blade and Sorceries that PC has. Alright, that's what I want to see on PSVR 2. Not whatever garbage you're getting, you know. Obviously Phasmophobia, but that doesn't count as a Quest game, you know. That's a PC VR game, as we all know. God damn, why didn't it let me scroll up? Mr. Jackpot says, don't see many PSVR exclusives coming out. Let's translate this into reality. I'm afraid of PSVR 2 exclusives coming out. That's what he's saying. That's what Mark Zuckerberg is making him type. And he's hiding it. Ooh, my streaming took a dip there, I think. Hopefully I'm still good. But yeah, have you ever seen They Live? I think it's called They Live. With the guy who puts on the sunglasses and he can see what's really there. I've got the sunglasses on when I'm reading your comments, Jackpot. I can see what's really there. Geisen says Zero Caliber. I wasn't aware that was confirmed, but Geisen is a knowledgeable fellow, so I will take that as confirmation. Fozzie Bear says you got Firewall 2 and it was shit. What? You got Firewall 2 and it was shit. I'm not understanding that one. Jason Ewan says Twisted Metal and Road Rash virtual reality would be awesome if done correctly. And there is a little bit of hope actually for Twisted Metal because Fire Sprite, the people making Horizon Call of the Mountain, who also made The Persistence, the rumors are that Twisted Metal has gone to them now. So it was at Lucid Games. Rumors, of course, it was never officially announced, still hasn't been. There was rumors that Lucid were working on Twisted Metal. They had done Destruction All-Stars, which I don't know if anyone plays that game anymore, but they're still working on that. But they're constantly hiring. And then they lost their director. Their director went to Fire Sprite, and then Twisted Metal apparently followed him to Fire Sprite. So, given their pedigree with virtual reality and hybrid games and all this kind of stuff that Sony are pushing for, that could be very possible, Mr. Jason Ewan. Now your mouse is having a stroke. Probably myocarditis. I don't know what that is. I don't speak in fucking medical terms. You're going to have to translate that for me. What? SBMM. What's SBM? Skill-based matchmaking. Damn, I'm good. Will be terrible for viewer skill. Oh wait, that's because it was in my subconscious had read it already. You know, that's what it is. Will be terrible for viewer skill-based matchmaking. Are you including like if this is cross-play included with like flatties, or if this is virtual reality only? But there is a good point to be made there. Tradition. Even with Call of Duty staying on PlayStation, Microsoft will ensure Call of Duty plays best on Xbox. Sony needs their own first-party IP to compete with it long-term. And I agree with that. But the thing is, it's such a massive ask. Even if they make, you know, the best Killzone game or the best Resistance game, or they come up with a brand new IP, or they build up Firewall and it's excellent, to get the same brand recognition that Call of Duty has. I mean, it has to have that big moment which Call of Duty had with Modern Warfare. When Modern Warfare came along, it changed the game. It kind of like revolutionized shit. So that's what gave it that big name, and that's what gave it the staying power, you know. It never had to revolutionize anything ever again, because that revolution was big enough to carry it for like 13 years or whatever it's been. Longer, has it? Fucking hell, we're getting old. But yeah, that's such a big ask. You know, and I hope they attempt it. And I know they've partnered with Deviation Games, who have like a lot of Call of Duty talent there, and Firewalk Studios. Apparently they're 2 multiplayer games. They've partnered up with them. Second party, but exclusive, I think. So, you know, hopefully one of them is able to do something. Move the needle. But it's such a big ask. It's like ridiculous. Mr. Geisen says Reggie is making Honor and Duty steampunk. I forgot about that. I remember hearing, like, was that a dream I had one time? I think my connection quality is dipping again. Sorry if that's happening. If you're seeing lag or whatever. Which will have up to 64 players. That should fulfill the Battlefield type of players. I am a Battlefield type of player. And I assure you, and this is with no disrespect to Reggie, who I don't know. I don't feel comfortable calling him Reggie. Mr. whatever his name is. But I'll call him Reggie for now because that's the only name I know him by. Nothing he makes as long as he's still the one person team, is going to satisfy like that Battlefield viewer kind of craving that I'd love to see itched, if you know what I'm saying. Especially steampunk style, you know. I mean, when Battlefield 1 came out, everyone loved it, but I didn't like it because it was World War 1. I liked the Battlefield. Yeah, everyone has their own favorite one, but I like the modern day combat stuff, you know. But I see what you mean in terms of, like, you know, 64 players, and he's probably got vehicles and shit like that in it too. Mr. Jackboss. I heard, sorry for that. Let me just do it again to emphasize this. I heard that the Horizon virtual reality game is like rail chooser type. Now, where did you hear that? Show me where you heard that. That wasn't just a complete fucking pulled out of Mark Zuckerberg's ass rumor. Like, there is no free movement. You go in a cart or something and takes you around. This is completely unfounded speculation. What I've seen, and I think maybe Tradition linked it to me or tagged me in this, or maybe he just retweeted it or something and I saw it, was a developer. I don't know if he's a guerrilla developer or not, but he was like, Horizon Call of the Mountain is going to change what AAA means for virtual reality is, and he's like just fucking hyping the shit out of it, you know. You don't show off a rail chooser as your very first game. And I'll eat, you know, what'll I eat? Because it is possible, so I'm not going to say something too crazy. I'll drink this lava lamp. I'll drink that lava lamp juice if Horizon Call of the Mountain is like a on rails roller coaster, you know, fucking Until Dawn, Rush of Blood type game. There's just no way you don't show off that game as your big AAA first party thing, with the big emphasis on the big machines and, you know, the bow and arrow combat. They didn't show it off, obviously, but they will. It's gonna be, I'm not saying it's gonna be open world, but it's not gonna be a fucking rail chooser. Don't ever bring that shit in my chat again, Jackpot. You really changed, you know that? Spreading fucking smear campaigns, that's what you're doing. People of the Pumpkin says, I hope Sony buys Ember Lab, not for your devs, but Medcana Bridge of Spirits, and yeah, that will be a good one to get. I think Kena, or Kena, I don't know how you pronounce it. That was like the first game they ever made, and it was so like, for that, it was impressive. So that will be a good one. There's like First Contact Entertainment, that's the big one. You put a gun to my head and say, what studio do you want Sony to buy the most? It's going to be First Contact Entertainment. Mr. Tradition. Brand recognition is important, but I remember when Call of Duty cloned Medal of Honor on PC and seemingly stole its crown overnight, but smaller market back then maybe. So I don't know when you commented that, well, at what stage I was ranting. But I think the big turning point for Call of Duty was Modern Warfare. Up until then, all the Call of Duties were World War II shit, you know. But bringing up Modern Warfare, and I think they had like a new engine, and everything looked unreal. Well, it felt very next gen, and then of course the multiplayer shit, like, you know, with the perks and the maps and all this kind of shit. Like, it was just lightning in a bottle, I think. You know. Jason Ewan, have you played Alvo since the update, Pumpkin? The last time I played Alvo, I streamed Alvo. So if you go back to my videos, you'll probably see the last time I played Alvo, and that was it. Which is months ago. Same with Firewall, same with every other game. I just haven't had the opportunities lately. The bazooka is bananas. There's a bazooka in Alvo now, and I will check that out. Geisen said it was an ex-Guerrilla employee who said that. Thank you, Geisen. I knew he had some kind of insight into it. That's why he was his words held more weight for me. That's why I brought it up, but I couldn't remember what exactly it was, how he was related to it. But thank you, Geisen. Peepo, the Pumpkin says, yeah, Deviation Games have the top dogs that helped make multiplayers and zombies as the owners. Dave Anthony and Jason Blundell. But yeah, I'm excited to see what they come up with. And People seem to say, or people are saying, I should say, that Sony saw this coming with Call of Duty, and that's why they made these partnerships. But I think Microsoft pounced on this opportunity. Shut up. They pounced on this opportunity with, the whole Activision scandal. That's how they were able to buy them. So I don't think Sony had the foresight there. But they might have lightning in the bottle too over there. Tradition. Would be weird to show off new controllers with analog sticks using a roller coaster shooter. And he doesn't say this. Tradition does not say this in his comment, but at the end there, what he means is, and what he wants to say, is eat shit for life, Mr. Jackpot. That's what he wants to say. And of course, it's so blatantly obvious, I can't believe I didn't think of that. You gotta have the sticks. Everything's gonna be using them sticks now. Alright? Getting sticky in here. Peepo, the person who said it would change VR AAA was a Horizon dev who didn't help work on Call of the Mountain. Thank you, Peepo. I appreciate that. Heads up. And also from Geisen. Jason Ewan says, the wife and I will be playing Alvo in a few. Hope some of you fine folks can play. Jason, I hope you and the wife have a swell time playing Alvo. And who is it? I see. But Mr. Oi 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 himself. How you doing, Deej? Glory, glory, Man United, Deej. Rashford to the rescue. Last minute goal. Welcome, Deej. I hope you're good. Long time no see. I'm so happy to see the stream and all of you, smiley face. Deej, I'm sorry I've been, I went to get a pack of cigarettes from the grocery store and I kind of left you alone with your mother for a few years. But, I just felt like I was being suffocated and I had to get out of here. I think, is that everything we got to say on the Microsoft thing? Maybe there's more. Like, we can continue talking about it and while I go on to other things, which is just like a couple of other things I want to mention, and I'm not even sure if I can think of them right now. One of them is that Zenith, this MMO that I'm kind of looking forward to, that when they showed it off at the time, I was like, that could be fun. That could be a fun, community game. That's going to have a 10% pre-order discount. So, if you're thinking about getting this, I think it's like $29.99. Dollary dues in euros. 10% off if you want to get it day one or whatever, And all the previews seem to be like, singing its praises. Despite it being like a fucking cringiest of anime, looking things. Which is not my style. I won't be big into the anime. Like Metal Gear Solid is as far as anime-ish as I'll go. And even that game, tests me sometimes with characters like Raiden, What was the other news I wanted to say? Oh well. Deej says, I completely understand, Pumps. It was me, not you. Well, thank you. Thank you for understanding. I'm clingy, I get that. You and everyone else, Poor old Donnie isn't here. I was hoping he'd join, but he's probably at work. I'm sorry to look at my phone. I'm just texting because I wrote down the 3 news topics. And, why? What the hell? Oh, here we go. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. Sorry about that. People, I think Sony is pushing virtual reality devs to implement thumbsticks and eye tracking. Oh man, I forgot about eye tracking. That's going to be so goddamn good. To show off the full possibility and haptics at launch. How good do you think the headset haptics are going to be? They got a motor in there, but they're describing it as a single motor. They're not really using the same terms as they do for the controller, so I get the feeling it's not going to be the full haptic feedback sensation in the head. It might just be like one. I don't know what you think about that. Maybe I'm wrong. The other thing I wanted to say was that Sony recently released a trailer on their YouTube channel, like promoting PlayStation virtual reality games. I think it was called Live the Game or something like that. That's the slogan that they have for this little marketing promotion thing. But I think the big thing to note about that is that it shows off the last 3 big games. I would argue, I would suspect that the last 3 big games. Oh. Jason, Ewan, thank you for the tip. And thank you for Baby Cow again. I can't get enough of Baby Cow. I might listen to it after the stream. It's good. It's a good song. You know, it's a classic. And thank you very much for the nice words. It was great chatting to you too, Jason. And I will stay moist for you. Tradition says, I think it'll be simple rumble motor in the headset. I also don't think they'd have it there unless it has a decent enough impact. So you think it's going to be like a... It's going to fuck you. You're going to feel a headbutt when you get one. That'll be cool. I'm thinking of, you know, headshots in a game. Can you imagine if it was like enough to be like, oh, you know, when you got shot in the head? That could be fun. God knows how many other uses you could come up with. I think they gave an example of like things passing by your head to give you like a sensation of speed, maybe, or I don't know. I can't keep track of all these things. I'm just going to read some more comments and then I'll get back to that thing. Oh shit! Cow music is silent for you. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Desktop audio, lads. Hold on a sec. I have a button here that'll let me replay it. So don't you worry, you're going to hear us. Okay? I promise. Audio mixer. How do I do that? Oh no, there's another donation coming in the fucking... Well, I'm not complaining about the donation, Deej, but I can't get the music up in time. Ooh. Ooh, you don't want to hear this one. You don't want to hear this one. $6.63. Oh, we gotta play that one again because you're gonna enjoy the way he pronounces Gaison. Fist. Thank you very much, Deej, for that generosity. You're humbling me, lads. I don't deserve it for being away for so long. I'm just trying to sort out the audio mix thing here for a sec. It was advanced audio properties. That was this. Desktop audio. Monitor and output. Now hold on a sec. Let me go back to traditions one first of all.
Reptilians are said
right.
to be races.
I forgot that it randomized it every time I do it.
Which come from extraterrestrial
Then I'll do Jason's.
Tradition has just donated 8.8 through Super Chat.
I assume you can hear this.
Facebook made Dicepticon exclusive to Quest to attack this channel.
Reptilians or reptoids are said to be races.
Why is the text so small? I need to fix that. I'm sorry about that. The bootleg nature of my streaming setup here. We'll try the Deej one.
Moist. Thanks for the awesome conversation. Stay moist.
I'll take this one. I enjoy it. Mr. Chopped. What a man.
Through Super Chat. Soaking moist. Love you all, especially Gaison. Fist.
Did you ever see that tweet? And thank you again, Deej, Jason, Ewan, and Tradition. Sorry, I don't mean to go over that so quick. Did you ever see that tweet? You know Bam Majira or Majura, whatever the fuck his name is, that jackass guy. He put out a tweet saying, what the fuck did he say? No, it was the other way around. It was Hulk Hogan. Put out a tweet saying, rest in peace, Bam. Wish you were still here, brother. And then Bam Majira replies saying, I'm still here, man. We can hang out or something, or thank you or something. I think it was after his friend died in that car accident. Anyway, let's not get distracted. Deej says, that's the thing I'm most interested in. That's the thing you're most interested in. That's interesting for me. Because that's the thing I keep forgetting is going to be in us. Will we feel something like a headshot or raindrops? Ooh, raindrops with the headset. See, if it was haptic feedback, I would think we'd feel the raindrops. But if it's this big thing, then we'd probably just be feeling headshots and fucking I don't know what else. Tradition says, I wonder if it's primarily there for motion sickness mitigation. Even though they describe it as having other purposes. Yeah, it was interesting that when it was first talked about in, I don't know, was it leaks or patents or some shit, that they mentioned only that it was going to be like a motion sickness aid. But when they're officially talking about it, they don't mention that at all, which is kind of, you wonder if they want to avoid the topic of motion sickness altogether. Like, it's a bad look. Let's not talk about that shit. So that is interesting, how they're going to use it. Did I put this on the screen already? Love you all, especially Geisen from Deej. People says, I think that the live the game goddamn, live the game trailer is Sony trying to get rid of their stock of PSVR 1 units. I think next we get a PSVR 2 reveal. So that's what I wanted to say, people, is that this is kind of like the last push for PSVR 1. They're showing off 3 games as like the future of PSVR 1. Zenith, The Wanderer, and they're both coming out like in February. They're already out. So then you're left with one game, which is Moss Book 2, and that's coming out, and I don't think it has a date yet, but spring 22 is the official release window, but that could be pushed, who knows. But once Moss Book 2 is out, I think PSVR 1 is kind of run its course. You're going to be relying on, I mean, they're all third party anyway, but you're going to be relying on maybe some ports or something like that. And like, Sony's not going to be pushing anything else on it, I don't think. So it's kind of sad, is what I want. Like, that was the idea of me bringing it up. You know, this is like the last hurrah, you know. It would bring a tear to a stone. Thanks, Deej, says Geisen. Fuzzy Bear says, sound issues never happening on a Pumpkin stream. Imagine if it didn't. That would be strange, wouldn't it? Uncomfortable. Mr. Tsuki is in the house. Hold on a sec, did I skip anything? I did. Nothing big though, I don't think. Just a typo correction. Tsuki, don't like it. I don't care about any of that extra stuff so much. I just want them to put out more good games, more full games using their old IPs. And of course, I agree with you 100% in terms of I want more good games. I think everyone wants more good games. I'm not too pushed about whether they're old IPs or new IPs. As long as they're good games, I'm going to be happy. But I think it's worth talking about, you know, if that Moser headset in the headset can actually somehow fix motion sickness. That's worth talking about. That's, you know, interesting. That's gonna help, because I think the number one complaint I see from people online, you know, the detractors, is like, oh, I can't play for more than 2 seconds or I get sick. Oh, I get a sore pain in my tummy. And I can't play virtual reality because I'm an unevolved ape. And if this can shut them people up, it's worth talking about, you know? I think we're all on the same page with that. Tasuki, it's great to see you. Deej says, we are bound to get better graphics and bigger games. That's a given. I just want more and more immersion now. And that is a perfect impersonation of Deej. And you're right as well. It can't, like, I'm seeing this shit on, you know, there's a lot of talk of Hitman VR on PC now that they finally got the patch to update it for, you know, PC VR, and basically they did a half-assed job. They didn't take advantage of the PC, you know. I'm not really sure what the specific complaints are because, you know, fuck PC VR, who gives a shit about that? But I care when a AAA studio isn't taking advantage of the hardware. You know, I mean, we could argue this that they didn't take advantage of the PSVR 1 hardware when they didn't use the Move controllers, but I was willing to forgive them because the Move controllers are fucking dog shit. But yeah, if these hybrid games that Sony are talking about are going to be dog shit implementation, that's not obviously not a good thing. We want them to at least feel like they've been built up for VR, in terms of I can interact with all this shit with my motion controllers. You know, I don't know how realistic that is to achieve, but you know, you bought some studios, do stuff with them. Am I right? Tradition says all about the games. It always has been all about the games. That's something we all need to remember. That's what Xbox 2013 didn't understand, but they know it now. And here's the snake himself. What in the hell is going on in here? Says Decepticon. Decepticon, how you doing? Feeling a little brave showing your face after I exposed you today and very nearly replaced you. Oh Lord, here he is. Decepticon. There he is indeed. And you know, for some reason people are greeting him. Fozzie Bear says, about time, Decepticon, you can now defend yourself against these circus animals. God damn, Fozzie Bear. I didn't know you were on Team Decepticon. Hashtag Team Decepticon. We need touching tips back ASAP. It'll come back, I'm sure. But right now it's a struggle. You know, it's a struggle to get, like, I know. What's that interference from here? And I don't know what that is. I don't like it. This month we've had some big news for PSVR 2. But like in the past few months, it's been dry, you know. There has been times where it's like, I want to make a video. I have time to make a video. There's nothing I really want to talk about. Because there's other channels out there that will cover absolutely any PSVR related stuff. And that's fine. That's cool. I only really want to talk about stuff that's going to interest me specifically, kind of, you know. As far as I'm concerned, there's a lot of dog shit out there that I just don't want to talk about, really. I'm just not interested by it. But that will change. Obviously, PSVR 2 exciting stuff is happening. Bigger games are coming. Better times are coming. Tsuki says, if the extra stuff is good, that is cool and all. It's just, I need to see more from Sony. They tend to start hot for titles, then all the Sony games vanish. How would you like, if you look at that latest ad they put out, for example, they highlight that they've got 500 games on PSVR 1 that we have right now. I know a very small amount of that is first party stuff. But 500 is an impressive enough, you know, library of games, I think, for a console. Well, it's not a console, I know it's peripheral really, but it is its own platform. And considering they only sold they scraped past 6 million, I think. So to have 500 titles for just 6 million people, and who knows how many of them are still active, you know, is kind of good going. But I know what you're saying, and that is a worry, Tsuki. I just feel like I think they are committed, you know. I think the fact that there is a PSVR 2 at all and that it has all the hardware, like look at the specs that it has, it's like, oh shit, they're serious this time. I mean, you could say the same for PS Vita, but they don't have stupid proprietary storage, at least for this one. But it's a valid concern, Tsuki, and you are correct to bring it up. You're likely to get in on PSVR 2 dice? Asks Tradition. Goddamn scroll is fucked up. Tsuki says Sony needs to support PSVR like crazy. Support it with first party games as much as possible. Now this is where their hybrid stuff comes in. If all their first party stuff can be made hybrid, then we don't need to worry. You know, I think it's obvious, or at least it should be obvious to everyone at Sony, I mean, that GT7 is perfect for viewer support. It'd be crazy if that doesn't happen. Other games might be more difficult, like, you know, how do you do hybrid with something like, if there was a Bloodborne sequel, how would that work as well in virtual reality? I mean, in terms of making it a hybrid game, because there's a lot of rolling around, and, you know, I don't know how well that translates to virtual reality. But obviously that's probably me just not thinking about it. This is something, if you put like 5 minutes of thought into us, it's like, oh yeah, we'll just do a quick teleport back instead of an actual roll or whatever. Anyway, don't listen to me. Decepticon says, come watch UFC with us tonight. The update is so more people can join the room. That sounds like illegal piracy, Decepticon. We got him. Everyone in the chat is actually FBI undercover agents. And we've lured you into our honeypot, Decepticon. You're toast, pal. Give him the fucking full body cavity search, please, Agent Smith. Possibly if enough good exclusives and the update that dreams, but it'll be a while. You hear this now? You hear the language he's using? I remember in the past, he was like, well, when PSVR 2 comes out, then I'll get PSVR 2. But now that it's coming out very soon, it's like, well, if there's no good exclusives, it's like, he's kicking the can down the road. And, this is concerning. It concerns me how much Mark Zuckerberg has his tendrils inside Decepticon. He's penetrated them deeply. Tasuki says, I still need to play Resident Evil 4 Virtual Reality. Have not had a chance. Hurt my back around Christmas. I'm sorry to hear that. It's almost better, but my father, also passed away earlier this month. Funeral is this week, so I've been busy. I'm very sorry for your loss, Tasuki. Rest in peace to Mr. Tasuki Sr. That kind of came across as a joke, but that's not my intention. For reals, condolences on your loss. I did not know that. Decepticon says Resident Evil 2 was extremely good in VR. Did you actually play that? That does look like the dog's box. And it is just proof that they could have done that, Capcom could have done that. That's just one modder who did that. They could have hired one person on their team to do that, no? And fair enough, it took them months or whatever, but I'd take a patch for it right now, Capcom, if you're listening. I'd pay for it, I think we all would. Tradition offering his condolences, as with Decepticon. Tradition says, I've got Resident Evil 4 VR on the go on my Quest at the moment. And listen, as much as I shit talk the Quest, Resident Evil 4 is a good guess. I mean, it's an old ass game, and it still looks like an old ass game, but it's a classic. It's one of my favorite PS2 games. Resident Evil 4 was also solid, says Decepticon. Surely 4 was probably more solid than 2, seeing as I had like all the UI and shit built correctly. Like you can pick up the ammunition and all that shit. Dyson offering condolences to Tsuki also. Tsuki says, I own the game, just have not had a chance to play it with the stuff going on. That's very understandable, Tsuki. Important. What are we going to do with no aim controller on PSVR 2? That's interesting. But what I think is going to happen is either there will be an aim controller or there will be like a sharpshooter type situation. If you remember sharpshooter on PS3, you pop a move controller into it, it's shaped like a gun, did the job. I just think we need like a gun shaped piece of plastic, pop your two fucking sense controllers into it, and all of a sudden it's as good as an aim for a fraction of the price. I think that's the smartest way to do it. Fozzie offering condolences also. Resident Evil 2 VR is a PC mod. Yes, it is. It was one guy called, I think he's called Prey Dog or Prairie Dog. I can't remember which. But he did both 2 and 3 and he launched them together. I think he's working on 7 and Ace as well for PC. I do not know if he's completed them yet. Deej offering condolences. Whoops. Scrolled down too far. Important says 498 shitty games. That's you talk a lot of shit for someone in cum shot distance, Important. And you're not in cum shot distance right now, but you will be. You mark my fucking words. Oh, you've already answered the question. He's also put Monster Hunter and Devil May Cry 5. Oh, third person, okay. I was about to say, how do you do Devil May Cry 5 in VR? That's like, But third person, understandable. Mr. Jackpot here. What? I wonder what smear campaign he's gonna fucking try and paint us with right now. PSVR library averages 3 out of 5 stars. Okay. Why didn't you tell me about the Quest library? What does that average? Can it render a star? Is there too many points? Does it just look like a blob? I bet it does, unless it's connected to a PC. That's the only time a Quest is useful. Prey Dog is the modder. Thank you, Decepticon. He should be hired by Sony if they're smart. Peepo the Pumpkin says, I would, Lamau, if Sony pays Capcom to make Resident Evil 4 remake as a hybrid game. Hot damn, there's a proposition for you. Imagine if PSVR 2 got Resident Evil 4 Remake as an official VR supported thing. And then you'd be like, hey, Questicles, check this out. I've got fucking lighting effects in my game. What do you think about that? You know? My flashlight actually casts shadows and shit. I'll stick it to them. Mr. Jackpot says, most games suck. Quest has probably like 4.5 racing games overall. Wait, what? Quest is probably like 4.5. Do you mean 4.5 out, 4 out of 5? Is that what you mean? I don't know what you mean. Are you talking about Quest games suck? I don't know. It's hard to know. You're stoned. Decepticon, also, he's as a puppet right now. It's Mark Zuckerberg we're talking to right now. It's not Decepticon. He's got his hand up his ass and he's pulling the strings. DMEO, Walkabout Golf, and Pop 1 is good. Listen, I'm not going to say it doesn't have good games. In seriousness, it does have some cool games. And this is, we're talking about standalone only, you know. Pop 1 is a game I've wanted on PSVR for a long time now, and I was sad when they got acquired by Zuckerberg because it's not going to happen. Walkabout Golf, just multiplayer golf. If everybody's golf was just multiplayer, it's just so blatantly obvious that someone at Sony is really fucking stupid, and that's a concern. And then there's Demio, which is that like an RPG thing? I'm not like a dungeon crawler shit. I haven't looked into that one very much. Tradition also enjoys Walkabout. Tsuki says, for PSVR 2, we will know more soon. The price, how it looks, as well as launch games. I'm sure they're holding back a lot until then. Absolutely. It has to be like a big reveal event where they show all that shit off. And that's when we see the games. It is strange to me that they've shown off Horizon Call of the Mountain. That little glimpse. By itself. No other games. I never would have predicted that. And I don't understand why they did it. That little CES presentation, they didn't show price. They didn't show what the headset looks like. They showed the specs. Those specs were kind of leaked already, and we already knew them. But, you know, it's nice to have them confirmed. I know that. But, it was weird. It was weird. I mean, we're all hyped and excited at the time, but looking back on it now, I was like, why did they do that? That was weird. You know? And seeing as Tsuki brought it up that we haven't seen how it looks, I just want to ask the question to you. Let me think of the question before I ask it. That might be a good idea. How much do you care how it looks? You know, what do you think? Like, I've seen the Sense controllers, they're pure black. I'm expecting something that's pure black. Based on how the DualShock controller, well, not this one, because this is a black one, but the original white one, that revealed the color scheme of that one. Do you care, though? I mean, it's probably just going to look pretty much the same as what we have, except cameras on the front and a different color, maybe black. But does it matter to you if it looks... Like the Pimax looks kind of stupid. It looks a little bit ridiculous, you know? But it still wears. Anyway, Decepticon says, I finished both stories in virtual reality. Ran nice on a 1660 Super. God damn. I bet you get lots of Microsoft Excel spreadsheets done on that bad boy too. Tsuki says he appreciates all the thoughts. Of course, on the sad passing of his father. Important says, when do we get to see the PSVR 2 headset? Place your bets. I think everything's up in the air, Important. I think Sony themselves don't know when the PSVR 2 is coming out yet. It might not come out this year, and depending on when they lock in that's probably when they show us. But for in the spares of just having, you know, fun and placing bets and shit like that, I'm gonna say around E3 time is when we see the reveal of all the details. I'm hoping it's sooner, but, you know, just for the sake of, like, you know, having bets and whatever. So that's June. I'm going to say June. Tsuki don't like it. Sony need to copy Quest and reconfigure more old games for VR. Quest need to do old games, because the Quest can't run current gen games. So while it's nice that they get these, you know, all-time classic games, and I would love to have them on PSVR, I'm not going to say otherwise, you know, because that's going to add a whole new dimension to them. I'd love to play Resident Evil. Well, Resident Evil 4, yeah. But Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3 in virtual reality. 4 as well, whatever, all of them. That would be splendid. However, I'm trying to think of like, what's the hot upcoming games? I don't know, Ghost of Tsushima 2 with, proper samurai fucking sword action and stuff like that. That'd be unreal, You're not going to compete with these new experiences that are going to be built properly for VR. Yeah. Decepticon, proper virtual reality version was better, but Resident Evil 2 is the better game. Oh, ooh. Interesting. If we're talking flat versions, Resident Evil 4 versus Resident Evil 2 remake. It's difficult. Resident Evil 2 I feel is a lot shorter. Maybe that's my imagination, but I thought like Resident Evil 4 was way longer. But Resident Evil 4 dips as you leave the village. Village is top tier shit. Castle's a little bit lesser. Then the island gets whack, except for the regenerators. They're terrifying. But then I'm thinking of Resident Evil 2, and it's like, the police station is fun, but then you go down to the sewers and the orphanage. I don't know. All Resident Evil games fucking go to shit at the end, don't they? Whatever. You can argue about that if you want. Both excellent games. I think I'd probably pick Resident Evil 4 over 2 remake. But it will be very tight. The PSVR 2 aim, lol. Oh man, how far behind am I in these comments? People says Feb. Oh, rumored event, I think, is when we see PSVR 2 or maybe at GDC. I'm not ruling anything else. That's a good a guess as any as far as I'm concerned. Decepticon says, I said PSVR 2 around September. Now, I believe what he was asking was, when do we see it revealed? Now, the way you're saying this, it sounds like it releases in September, you think. But he's on about reveal. Tsuki says, I haven't had a chance for Resident Evil 2 VR mod either, or other games I bought. I will get them. Well, there's no rush. Tsuki, you can do any of those in VR. Resident Evil 2 Remake is third person, but they made it into first person and VR. Yeah, no, that Prey Dog did some good shit. I missed Deeges, who said next week. Is that your guess? Next week? He's got a feeling. Well, next week would be exciting. I'd rather Sony get Resident Evil 2 Remake officially done in VR or Village, not Resident Evil 4 again. Well, Resident Evil 4 Remake is happening. Now that's like basically like the worst kept secrets in gaming right now, is that Capcom are working on this thing, and it's probably going to come out in like 23 or 24. So if it's coming out anyway, they might as well have a virtual reality companion piece or mode, whatever. Quest is most useful if you can wireless connect to a powerful enough PC to also play Steam VR games, which I can do. By itself is not near as good, and I'll agree with that. But once you do that, all of a sudden all the good points about Quest, kind of get lessened for me. Yes, it's still wireless, but you're introducing the potential for latency. How far away can you go from the signal or whatever? And if you stand in a certain spot, is it going to get, spotty? I don't know. All I know is that I'm not listening to no Mark Zuckerberg propaganda. Alright. Board game Dungeon Crawler 4-player. I'm guessing Decepticon is describing Demio, which means I'm way behind in the comments. Tsuki, well, Horizon was a teaser just to get people hyped, is all make you want more. I understand that. Yeah, but it's still strange. Like I suppose what I wish, like what my expectations were, is that when they showed it off, it was going to be with a bang. It was going to be boom, Horizon, boom, fucking Gran Turismo, Resident Evil A's, all these games together at the same time. What is going on with my fucking eye? Am I crazy? Is my eye droopy or something? Anyway, it's like, it's still a cool teaser, but now it's a little bit like, that maybe would have had more impact if it was like bombshell after bombshell after bombshell, you know? And I know they still have to show off actual gameplay, and that's when it's probably really going to impress, but still, it was weird. You know? Deech says, so who's going to be playing Zenith, or has he already talked about it? I talked briefly about it, but what I forgot to talk about is how I knew I wanted to play Rec Room today, and I knew that both my Move controllers were dead. So I charged them both overnight. They were both charging, both blinking. The lights were blinking to show that it was charging. One of them, when I turned them on, was already flashing like it was dead. So this particular Move controller has been causing me issues for, like, back when I was playing it. Back when I was actually using them, it was causing me issues back then. So I think there's something wrong with my Move where it just does not hold a charge for whatever reason. So if I want to play Zenith, I'd have to buy a Move controller in 2022, and that's not something I want to do. I'm assuming there's no like DualShock support in that game. I don't know. Like, I was kind of interested in it, but do I want to buy a fucking Move controller again? I already want to throw the two that I have in the fucking trash. Tradition says, I've had more fun with PSVR than Quest 2 standalone. Eat shit! But it just depends on what games you're into or not. I mean, I'll disregard that part. Decepticon's got to see more of Zenith. I don't know. The thing about, I was just going to say, Tradition brings it up. Zenith is crossplay. Yes, it is. So we can play with those filthy questicles, I believe. Tsuki says, I care how the PSVR feels on my head. Comfort is all I care about. I hear the Quest is very uncomfortable after a certain period of time. Lies Beneath was extremely good too. I'll have to look into that one. I've heard about you talking about that before, but I haven't looked into it actually, like a trailer or whatever. Peepo says CES, which is the event that they showed off the PSVR, or Horizon, we'll say, they didn't really show off PSVR 2, isn't even really big for gaming. That's why I think we'll get a mid-release. Why didn't they hype the event thing? That's also part of my thing. Like, when I was expecting them to show the PSVR 2, I was expecting them to be like a week beforehand. Hey, we're having this event on, the 1st of January, or the 3rd, whatever it fucking was. Please be here and we'll show you the future of virtual reality, like they did with the PS5. That's what I was hoping for. That's what I wanted. They didn't do it. Now, we do know that there was like rumors that they were supposed to have an event in December and that got pushed back. So maybe they were planning to do the big one in December. For whatever reason, they pushed it back. I'm assuming maybe delayed games, maybe something not ready. I don't know. Then January comes around and they're like, okay, we should really get this information out here, the specs, get people invested talking about us, and then boom, who's got a little snippet of a trailer to show off? And Horizon guys are like, yeah, we got this. That is how I see it in my head, but who knows what the reality is. Hope they stick with the Halo headband. I'm surprised all the other headsets haven't copied it. Like, I don't know how Quest released with the straps still. Halo is the way to go. They should have won awards for that if they didn't. Guys, I'm confirming Zenith will have crossplay. Deej is going to jump in day one on Zenith, I'm guessing. Fozzie Bear says, don't care what it looks like in terms of the PSVR 2 headset, I believe. He's answering that question. Stacks of spreads. I don't know what that's referring to because it was probably an hour ago when we talked about it. A flip-up visor would be a godsend, so I don't have to look down my nose at my phone. There we go. This is some futuristic thinking. My only wonder would be, would that wear out like hinges after like prolonged use over time? Well, obviously, Sony are good with their hardware, so they'd probably... Well, you know what? They're fucking not. My DualSense trigger, this one, has come loose after just a year of use from playing FIFA. So, maybe I should be concerned about stuff wearing down. Mr. Jackpot says, Holiday 2022 PSVR 2 is out. That is the hope. I think that's what Sony want. I just don't know if they're sure they can deliver it yet. But I think that's the plan. Important says, wow, this is a long stream. Body's working overtime. Man to man, is that what they say? Playing with the boys. God, I missed that song. I'm gonna have to listen to it after this stream. That space warping will add GPU power. Now, when he says space warping, what the hell is he talking about? Are you talking about that eye tracking? The foveated rendering? Or is this something else I've missed out on? Hold on, okay. A Zenith PP guild could be an olive branch between this fractured community. I don't know. Do I want to welcome Quest users into my guild tradition? How do I know the moment I won't turn my back there won't be 5 knives in it? Message retracted from people. Decepticon starting Resident Evil 3 soon. I never even played the flat version of that. I played the demo, and then I never got around to it, even though I enjoyed the demo well enough. And I loved the remake of 2. Tasuki says, a lot of horror games get worse at the end because you have gotten used to all the scares and it's tougher to scare you. Well, it wouldn't be that I would find the Resident Evil games because Resident Evil 4, for example, I think gets scarier at the end. Once the regenerators come, I think they're the scariest thing in the whole goddamn game. I think for Resident Evil 4 in particular, it just got a little bit ridiculous for me when it was like, I'm up against these army zombies and they're on these fucking M50 emplaced guns and shit like that. And I was like, if you compare the Village, where it's tight and claustrophobic and these people are getting up in your face with axes and sides and shit like that, that was more intense. And you got the chainsaw dude and all this. But then at the end, it just got a bit too actiony for me. But, different strokes for different horses. Revealed next month, says Decepticon. Okay, so he's going for a February reveal as well. People says PS4 would look like a PS4 Pro with eye tracking. PS4 would look like a PS4 would look like a Pro with eye tracking, I think. Imagine what the power of PS5 and eye tracking will do for PS4 2. I would hope that it's an even bigger leap from 4 to Pro with the eye tracking. But I think it was mainly going to be used for resolution bumping and stuff. PSVR 2 reveal beginning summer. Okay. June is summer, so I'm on the same boat with Jackpot, I think. Fozzie Bear says, I think they will announce after the next 2 big games next month release. And then release by mid-November. Okay, so the next 2 games are Horizon and Gran Turismo 7. It could be a good idea not to take any limelight off them 2 big games. That could be, that's a smart way of looking at things, Fozzie Bear. I like the way you think, boy. People, we all know mobile fanners aren't true gamers. This is true. According to a lot of people, so Quest uses mobile parts. I've always said, in a non-derogatory way, that Quest is the mobile gaming of virtual reality. And PSVR and then is obviously console. And PC is obviously PC. But Quest is on, the Quest has the benefits of being able to link up to the PC. That's what makes the Quest worth talking about, in my opinion. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't even acknowledge its existence. Decepticon says Bell's palsy. It's funny because a friend of mine, she was the only girl in my class when we were growing up in school. She got Bell's palsy. Her eye drooped and shit. And then it turns out she actually has MS. And then I don't know if it was a symptom or something. But anyway. Eye droopy that Ronan shot the side effect. Tipo says... Also, I think chat's 5 or 10 minutes behind. Is it just me that's 5 or 10 minutes behind? Like the way I'm clicking through these because I'm doing one at a time. When did you get so chatty? Tsuki says, worst thing about Bethesda being owned by Microsoft is no Skyrim Special Edition VR for PSVR 2. Maybe they'll find a way. They might make an exception for that. You can change the batteries on the original moves. You can? Now, when you say original moves, that implies there is a newer move. Did they change the charging port in that? Is that what the newer move was? Like USB-C or something. Deej says, I might know a man that knows a dog that might have some move controllers. Interesting. Listen, I'll probably just buy... It's just one. That's all I need. So I probably will get it. But thank you, Deej. I'll go into GameStop. All the restrictions are leaving Or they're gone now, actually, today. So I can just walk into a GameStop and see if they have Move controllers. Used, whatever. But thank you for the offer. And if I can't get one myself, I will message you. Tristan says, Halo headband is Sony patent, I think. I'm nearly sure I've seen another headset that uses this on PC. Like one of them shitty Windows mixed reality headsets. But maybe not. Maybe it is patented and they can't. Quest looks like a jock strap for your head. What's this? It's like an elite strap or something you can buy. It's like an extra strap that adds comfort. For some reason they don't include that. And it's an official thing too, isn't it? I bought the Bobo VR Halo strap with that. That's exactly what I was talking about. Well, I don't know what the fucking Bobo VR Halo strap with battery for Quest. Way more comfortable. I've heard people saying even with that strap that after an hour or two it's like, no, get this fucking thing off my head. Get Mark Zuckerberg out of my head. They can't copy the Halo design as copyright stuff as Sony has done something so others can't use the design. Okay. I was unaware. I was sure that other people were using it. Tsuki, PSVR was great due to all of us here playing these games together. Firewall, Werewolves, Alvo, and other. That reminds me of Among Us. I forgot about Among Us. That's coming too. FurQuest via Steam. Phasmophobia is great. That's, man, I hope that comes to PSVR too. And he says exactly the same thing. He says once it's done, I'll take it. When whatever state it's in now, I'll take it. I don't need it to be done. I just want it. Give it to me. Deej, FIFA, EA Sports, no, never give your money to those heathens. What's my other options is that fucking shitty PES. I don't even call it PES anymore. It's like, I don't know what the fuck it is. But anyway, I buy FIFA like, I buy one every 4 years. I don't buy them yearly. So I got 21. That was the last one I got. Decepticon says space warping and time warping is something new with code. Games will run smooth and faster with less power. Is this like a big advancement that's happening in gaming in general, or is this like a Quest specific thing? What are you seeing? This? Is this my imagination that this eye is going down? I don't know. Should I be worried? People, how much coffee or tea have you had? It's like 2:30. I don't drink. I don't really drink. I never drink coffee. I don't like coffee, but I rarely drink tea. And this is my last chance to do anything on the channel, like a stream on the channel for a while, because my girlfriend is back tomorrow. My girlfriend, I should say. She doesn't like it when I call her my girlfriend, or when I'm in the house while she's here. But I found a way to get her keys. Geisen says the newer Moves has a different port and batteries. Okay, I should probably look into getting a new battery then, but I'm not really one for... I'm not very handy, you know. So unless it's very easy to swap the battery out, I might not bother trying that. Jeremiah says they paid Sony to use that style. Is that true? That would make sense. Here we go. Backing us up. Sony has licensed Halo headband to Lenovo, which will be Windows Mixed Reality. That's the one. That's probably why it stuck in my head. It was probably made the news that Sony had patented or licensed it out to one of the other ones. But yeah, I mean... Quest, Meta, whatever the fuck, they've got the money. Just license it. Get the Halo design. You can feel the slithering scales. What is he saying? In general, I'm pretty sure I've got no idea what he's talking about. People, if you haven't played on Quest 2, Pumpkin, they feel like a bootleg console with the shitty controllers. That's what the controllers feel like. Now, I will say I will not insult their controllers while we still have Move controllers. I can't do that. Well, I got the aim controller, which is probably better, but we are not in no position to shit talk their controllers over here. Oh shit, I'm caught up on the chat. I did it. Or maybe the stream crashed. I don't know. My throat is actually getting sore now from all this chatting. You know? It's been a while. It's nice to do these streams so I can get like my social interaction skills can improve, because I don't talk to people outside of this channel ever. My parents, anyone. We'll talk about my eyeball. What do you think? This is important because maybe the PSVR 2 won't be able to track my fucking eyes if I got like one droopy eyelid coming down. Can't see where I'm looking. You know, we have to talk about this. Decepticon says, within 5 to 10 years, we probably won't need anything but a minor GPU. That's exciting. But I struggle to believe it. I want to believe it, but isn't there some shit about Moore's Law? How that's like, was it every 18 months processing power doubles or some shit? But that's like getting stretched out longer and longer. So unless you're talking about some kind of revolutionary new miracle, you know, in the computational world, and you would know that because you're up to date and all that kind of shit, and I'm not. But if that's true, that's exciting. Tradition says, I like Quest 2 controllers. Don't the Sense controllers just kind of look like modified Quest controllers? Like, they look pretty similar. Now, I've heard that the Quest controllers kind of feel a bit cheap in terms of their buttons and stuff. Or maybe the plastic feels a bit cheap. I don't know. I've never touched one. I would never sully my hands with the Quest controller. But I'm not going to shit in the design of them or whatever. Mr. Jackpot says, you have to sue Dr. Fossey for your eyes because of the shots. Well, I don't think anyone in Ireland was listening to Dr. Fossey. I think he's an American phenomenon. So I'd have to sue someone in Ireland, I suppose. But, again, suing in general is a very American thing. Deadly Trooper? That could be a new PSN name. Important, the PSVR 2 eye tracking has advanced AI droopy eye recognition. That's another thing I want, like, we should address, or someone should address. Like, there's quite a few people are kind of, maybe this is politically incorrect to say this, cross-eyed. There's probably like a technical term for that. Or lazy eye, you know, people like look that way sometimes. Or my sister's ex-boyfriend, I used to be talking to him, one-on-one conversation, looking him in the eyes, and then one of his eyes would just slowly start to fucking slide away to the side. It was the funniest thing. It was like Pennywise. That guy can do that on command, by the way, that actor. But he wasn't able to control that. It was just happening. So can you imagine he's in the middle of playing Horizon and then the resolution all of a sudden starts to go over here where he's not looking? I don't know how they're going to solve that issue for those people. Fozzie Bear says, by morning Pumps is going to look like Sloth from the Goonies. Well, at least I wouldn't have to go to work. Time for that pirate patch. You know, as a huge Metal Gear Solid fan, I've always been like, you know, if I ever do lose an eye, at least I'll get to wear like a Big Boss eye patch. That'd be cool. You know? Peepo says, eye twitching is a sign of Zuckerberg hunting you down. Trust me, that's what happened before I got kidnapped by lizard people and forced to play Quest. Well, that makes sense. Now, I will say it's not twitching. And I don't feel a difference. It's not affecting my eyesight whatsoever. It's just that when I look at myself on the screen, it looks like it's lower down. But maybe it's my imagination. I don't know. Anyway. Googly eyes? Is that the politically correct term? Any of you all out there with googly eyes, concerned about eye tracking, foveated rendering? Maybe you should be. What's wrong with you? I don't know. I don't know. Toxic Avenger. I wish. That man got all the honeys. And apparently he's getting a sequel or a reboot with Kevin Bacon. So he's doing pretty well for himself. Is there anything else to be said? You know, it's been a while since I was chatting to you. So there's been probably a lot of stuff that's happened that I missed out on in the last few months. But we've talked for nearly 2 hours now, I think. So maybe we'd all like a break. Is that something we'd all like? Call it quits for the night. See you again in 3 months. Deal? Meet me here in 3 months, okay? We'll talk about the PSVR 2 after it's been revealed. Okay. Now let me try to remember how to end a stream. It's not as easy as you think. Thanks to YouTube. That was a good therapy session. We'll do it again in 5 months. You worked out some stuff? Let me boot open some Google Chrome over here so I can get to the YouTube studio. Sorry about this. If there's anything you've been meaning to ask me, now's the time. Now is the time. What do you think of my Phil Spencer thumbnail? You like that little facial expression I gave him? I thought it came out pretty good. Updates in my Photoshop and it has these little things. Let me read out the last few comments. Ooh, Tradition actually has something interesting to say. Fozzie saying GG, Mr. Jackpot GG, Geisen saying GG. Tradition says, in Japan, for eyes that aren't quite in agreement, that's the politically correct way of saying that, on where to look, they call it Lunpari. There we go. All y'all Lunparis out there, are you concerned? Should they be concerned? Massey Matt says hi, and I'm about to tell him goodbye. Massey Matt, I hope you're well. One eye looking at London, one eye looking at Paris. Wait, is that why it's called that? Hold on a second, I have to go back. I'm trying to figure out what that word was that he said. Where's it gone? Lunpari, that's what it is. Are you making a joke? Was that a joke? I don't think the Japanese would say that. GG, get that eye fixed. I'll try. Can't afford the eye doctors around here. Deej says, missed you pumps, thanks for the stream. I missed you all too. Not to get too soppy. But this has been a beautiful reunion. Decepticon says, looks like a chameleon Pete will try and catch you. Maybe he'll give me some calcium tablets. I desperately need them. Jeremiah saying night. Night night, Jeremiah. Fozzie Bear says, do you wipe your balls after you poop? Or just your butt crack? I wipe from front to back so that I don't have to worry about my balls. At least I hope. But now you've got me concerned. Zavieso says, what's next for the pump? Next for the pump is just trying to clear out some time for this channel. Get some streaming going. That's what's next for the pump. And there is... I don't want to say anything because when I say things, it's just like a false promise and things change and plans change. So I don't want to say it. But I'm a little bit hopeful for the channel. For a slight improvement. You say it's legit. Could be Osaka slang though. Damn. How I can't think of anyone like in the English speaking language that would come up with like, you know, what's the Japanese word for two sissies and then we'll make slang out of that. You know, it's like a completely different language to make slang out of. Strange. Decepticon says, I use a bowling ball cleaner. I'm not sure what he's talking about. Is he talking about cleaning his balls? GG. GG everyone. It has been real. It's been emotional. And I hope... And first of all, thank you as well. Well, last of all, I should say. Thank you for everyone who gave super chats. That is much appreciated. Everyone take care. Mind yourselves. Stay off the streets. Do drugs if you want. You know, I'm not going to lecture you on that anymore. You're your own men and women. So do what you got to do. GG. Adios.